World Bank cuts 2019 growth forecast for sub-Saharan Africa. Consider increasing taxes on luxury goods. National Assembly advises government. Oil hits a 5-month high, courtesy violence in Libya. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Business Express, reaching you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We begin with tax matters. Nigeria's parliament has asked the government to consider increasing taxes on luxury goods to boost revenue.
The federal government should consider reducing the granting of waivers and exemptions while ensuring that the Nigerian Customs Service personnel are at all oil terminals for accountability, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service should consider increasing tax on luxury goods and services.
Nigeria has one of the lowest tax rates on the continent, relies on crude oil sales for as much government revenues. In the past, government has considered the idea of raising taxes on luxury goods to 15% from the current rate of 5% to boost its taxes to GDP ratio to 15% from 6% between 2017 and 2020. The next phase of reform and privatization program of the federal government is to focus on public-private partnership (PPP) with the view to correcting the infrastructural deficit in the country. This was contained in a statement by the head Public Communications Bureau of Public Enterprise (BPE), Aminu Tukur Othman. The statement says the Director General of BPE, Alex Oko, informed a delegation from the World Bank that the country's infrastructure gap is huge and that Nigeria needs to invest more than $3 trillion in the next 30 years to bridge. Mr. Oko said the new phase targets reforms mostly in the utility and infrastructure sectors, which include water resources, railway, airports and highways. Enhancing the quality of manufactured products is crucial to the federal government's efforts at promoting the ease of doing business to ensure economic growth of the country. Director General of the Standard Organization of Nigeria stated this at a stakeholders interactive meeting aimed at driving investment. He said the SUN Act of 2015 has a unique provision towards ensuring a level playing ground is created for manufacturers, traders, importers and exporters.
This is one of those regional sensitization and awareness programs. It is meant to deepen the standardization program, quality assurance, let people know that under standardization and quality assurance and even our metrology and other activities, there are grounds to place sanctions on those who are not conforming to the quality requirements of products, whether manufactured in Nigeria or imported into this country.
Now it's easier to do registrations. You can now see smaller businesses coming in. People can register their business names with as little as 5,000 naira. I must admit that the effort of government at creating a better enabling environment for doing business in Nigeria is paying off.
Other speakers emphasized the need for more information to allow law enforcement agencies effectively enforce regulations to curb substandard products. Technology stocks are extending leadership on Wall Street at S&P traders near its all-time high. Now we take a look at performance of global stocks. Bosede Abel is our guide.
Global stock market opened mixed 10th April 2019. In Africa, Namibia overall index and South Africa's JSA Africa Top 40 started positive, while Nairobi All-Share, Tunisia's Tunidex and Ghana's GSE Composite Index started negative. European stocks were slightly higher Wednesday morning, with European Union leaders likely to grant British Prime Minister Theresa May a second delay to Brexit. CAC 40 rose 0.37%, DAX 0.38%, while FTSE 100 depreciated 0.02%. Stocks in Asia were also mixed amid fresh concerns over the outlook for global economy. The Shanghai Composite rose 3,241.93. Hang Seng Index declined 0.13% and Nikkei also declined 0.53%. In the United States, Dow futures indicated a positive open of more than 30 points. Futures on the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite Index were both seen slightly higher.
The International Monetary Fund (IMF) sees global economy slowing and is urging leaders across the world to handle the delicate matter with care. From Washington, D.C., venue of the 2019 spring meeting, Leah Katuma-Batunde quotes IMF saying trade tensions between China and the U.S. will likely affect commodity exporters like Nigeria, as lower oil prices are expected to fall in the year 2019.
1 year ago, economic activity was seen to be accelerating in almost all regions of the world, with global growth projected to rise by as much as 3.6% in the years 2018 and 2019. However, this much has changed, no thanks to U.S.-China trade tensions, macroeconomic stress in Argentina and Turkey, disruptions in the auto sector, tighter credit policies in China, and normalization in larger economies. This weakness is expected to persist into the middle of this year, with global growth projected to decline further to 3.3% from 3.6% recorded in 2018.
Policymakers need to work cooperatively to help ensure that policy uncertainty does not further weaken investment. Fiscal policy will need to manage trade-offs between supporting demand, protecting social spending, and ensuring that public debt remains on a sustainable path.
Now, for sub-Saharan Africa and in particular Nigeria, global oil prices will be a major determining factor of the direction of the economy in the year 2019.
For Nigeria, the important price that does matter is what's happening to commodity prices. And if, because of the trade tensions, there's going to be a weakening in global growth, that can have a larger negative effect.
The global economy in the second half of 2019 is expected to witness a pickup, with growth projected to return to 3.6% in the year 2020. From the IMF headquarters in Washington, D.C., I'm Leah Kating, Babatunde, NTA News.
Thank you, Leah. Business Express will take a short break, after which we will return. Today we will be discussing matters arising from the ongoing IMF and World Bank joint annual spring meeting holding in Washington, D.C. Our guest is Anthony Chibo. He is a business and development strategist. Thank you for joining us on Business Express today.
Thank you.
Okay, now with the spring meeting currently ongoing, there is it is projected that growth is set to decline to 3.3% in 2019 from the 3.6% that was recorded in 2018.
Right.
What do you make of this development?
It's not surprising, Abina. It's not surprising at all. Uncertainty. Uncertainty is a bad word when it comes to global growth. And now trade disputes. What's the world going to be like after Brexit? What's going to happen between America and China? How are they going to settle? What's going to happen? So these things, amongst other things, happen to create uncertainty. When there's uncertainty, there's less investment in trade. When there's less investment in trade, there's less productivity, and then, of course, there's less growth.
Now you're talking about trade tensions between the US and China. There is also talk about commodity prices. Now, what is the correlation between the two and affecting global growth?
Commodity prices. Let's talk about oil. Let's talk about other commodities. Now, the pricing of every commodity is highly related to the amount of demand and, of course, the amount of production. If something is happening somewhere in the world that makes people guess that there could be a shortfall in production, the prices go high. If something is happening in the world that makes people think that there's going to be an overflow of production or supply of that commodity, it's going to make commodities low. However, in this particular case now, it's the politics of the trade that's in view here, the trade between countries. So if America and China have a deal, it affects all the commodities that are involved in that deal. And if they don't have a deal, or they don't have a favorable deal, it also affects all the commodities involved in that deal or not. And it, by implication, affects all the people or all the countries that supply in the trade of that deal. Now, if a country is commodity dependent, for instance, a country that is only dependent on or mostly dependent in a particular commodity like oil, then the price of that commodity in the world market certainly affects
now you're talking about oil. Going by the prospects coming from the IMF is talking about sub-Saharan Africa. Now, it says that South Africa, Angola, and Nigeria make about 60% of the annual economic output. But because they are facing various challenges, it's saying that global growth is going to be determined by the prices of oil. Now, how is it that those three countries alone determine what happens in the sub-Saharan continent?
Okay, yes and no. It's not only those three countries. The most advanced economy in Africa, that's South Africa, is projected to grow at only 1.2%, which is really low. So that's going to have a serious effect on the sub-Saharan outlook. Nigeria is projected to grow at 2.1% only. And the price of oil is subject to uncertainty. We don't know. Okay, a few days ago, Iran's Revolutionary Guard was designated a terrorist group. Now, Iran is a major supplier of oil in the market. How is that going to affect the supply of oil in the market? We don't know. Uncertainty. Now, if oil is going to go down, then Nigeria, the largest economy, and Angola, an up-and-coming economy, the economies and their productivity of growth and their GDP is going to go down. But their forecast is not just based, of course, it has a lot to do with Nigeria and Angola, but it also has a lot to do with South Africa and Egypt and the rest.
Okay, now the report also says that the second half of 2019 growth is expected to pick up, with projections put at 3.6%. Do you see this playing out?
Well, this is their projection. You always have to remember this is the IMF's projection according to their analytics. They believe that Turkey and Argentina, who have not been playing that much as they've been doing in the world market stage, will bounce back towards the end of 2019 and of course going on to 2020. That is why they have left their projections, if I may be correct, at 3.6% for 2020 and also for the third quarter of 2019. Okay, but for the first 3 quarters, they have said what we've all said, projected low. They are predicating this primarily, and they are not shy about it. They are predicating it primarily on Turkey and Argentina bouncing back into the world stage and doing what they know to do best in world trade.
Now, talking about world trade, there's also talk about lower prices affecting exporters in countries like Nigeria.
Exporters. Oh, yes. Okay.
Exporters.
Yeah. Exporters of commodities.
Is that something that should be noted? Is it significant?
You know, what this tells me is that we need to diversify. That's it. No matter how you coin it up, we shouldn't be exporting raw commodities. So whichever question comes out of that, we should be exporting finished value-added goods to our commodities. So if you are going to export raw commodities, then, and the commodities are going to come down in price, it will affect you. I don't know if that was...
Now, recently, the federal government has been embarking on diversification agenda away from oil.
Okay.
Now, how do you see the journey so far, and do you see the statistics changing with Nigeria diversifying away from oil?
Yes, the statistics will change. The awareness that we should diversify is there, definitely, but the implementation could be better. We should, I think, and I think we are. The awareness to do it better is there, but emphasis is on implementation. And I'm not just the one saying that. Recently, there was an Article 4 consultative report, and one of the things stressed is implementation, strategy. I call it SHSI. So strategy, human resource, strategic planning, implementation. It's important. That's the way forward for any organization, for any country, by the way, which is a big organization. We need to move forward. So it's not policy now. The policy is there. We know we should diversify. We do that. But we should implement it. And to implement it is harder than even coming up with a strategy. Like I said, to implement it, you need to come up with a strategic vision. Then You need the human resource has to pick up the vision with you. You make every Nigerian, me and you, see the vision and understand that what we are doing in our different little works carries that vision. And then you need to select human resource, select the correct people for each task. We've not been doing well about that. And we could do better. We have them everywhere.
There is always room for improvement.
Oh, yeah.
Recently,
Definitely.
we had the Central Bank of Nigeria reviewing rates. And IMF is saying that monetary and fiscal policies should be tightened to further check this decline in growth. Do you see this review by CBN as enough or more could be done?
Honestly, we should leave CBN alone. Let me tell you why. We must be very careful. Recently, a lot of money left our economy for whatever reasons. We know the reasons. Whatever monetary policies and fiscal policies that the CBN has brought about in this period, the CBN is conscious of that, very conscious of that, and so they've put up monetary policies with that in mind. I think we should wait and see the effects of these monetary policies for now. If there's anything again they must do, it is to strengthen the policies that they have on ground, to strengthen the implementation and make sure the reasons why they were put in effect is actually affecting in the economy. But for now, their money, their rates, they're okay. We can't really say yes or no, but I think they should be left alone. They shouldn't. Okay. They should do exactly what they've been doing. They've made it public about a week ago. The interest rates, everything they've done, it's clear to any economist or business strategists that they've done it in awareness of our economic state right now, and in order to invite or make an inviting environment for FDI.
Okay. Now, what would your takeaway be from the spring meeting for Nigeria?
Nigeria needs to industrialize. Of course, why did I start from industrialization? Because we already know we need to diversify. But for you to diversify, you're going to industrialize. For you to industrialize, you're going to implement your policies. I think, you know, it shouldn't be all doom and gloom. Okay. Nigeria has been successful in rice production. We're almost self-sufficient in rice production. We did it. Nobody did it from outside. We should take the lessons from the successes of rice production and apply it to other industries, especially power. And when we get power right, we're certainly in the right direction. And I'm one that believes that no matter what it may seem like, we will get it right. We have to get it right. We have no choice but to get it right.
There is hope for Nigeria.
Oh,
we'll
yes.
get it right.
Yes.
We have been talking to Anthony Chibo. He is a business and development strategist. It's always a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you so much, okay? Thank you.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Stock Exchange Osha Index for the 10th of April 2019 closed on a bullish note. It appreciated by 0.15% to close at 29,202.54 basis points, with market capitalization at 10.9 trillion naira, 481.6 million shares worth 2.8 billion naira exchange hands in 3,559 deals. Transcorp was the most sought after at the end of the session. Dangote Cement led the gainer stable, while Unilever edged the losers' charts. Now, how are commodities faring on the global markets? We will take a look. that, we come to the end of this edition of Business Express. You can access all previous episodes on YouTube, just as you can also communicate with us on Twitter, and the handle is NTA News Now. Enjoy the rest of the week and join us on Friday for another package. I am Amina Nushain.